with the other teams is that, software and other technologies are just tools that help you execute the solutions that you come up with when you problem solve. And so you being able to understand how other people think about things is really important, and have diverse perspectives. Because I find that in myself, I always have really good insights on how I'm going to tackle a software problem with discussing with other engineers on different on different teams. Um, and so, yeah, I would agree. Um, yeah, Jordan, but well for you.
Let's see. I guess being able to join this hackathon, I showed up to the main room that Friday just to support. There's a handful of people from, just like Michael, our cohort boot camp, and I showed up just to support them, but there was room in the team, and I ended up here. Um, what ended up well for our team, I think, was communication. It was very open.
Mhm.
We were quick to setting up uh, Discord channel to keep each other in touch, made a Slack channel for ourselves, and I think that was pretty big, especially in the short amount of time that we had to build a project. Uh,
Mhm.
if we didn't have that, I don't think we would have been able to come up with a product in the end.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you hit something really important is, communication is definitely important in this type of environment where, it's virtual, you're not in person. You can't just go to the next person and be like, "Hey, what's going on?" You have to be very intentional in how you are communicating with each other, because if you're trying to explain a complex topic, you want to make sure that your teammates understand that so that they can execute their tasks um, accordingly. So, yeah. Um, what would you say what would you say is the main thing that you took away from this hackathon, Jordan?
Let's see. I guess being open um, to any idea. Um, Day one, it was really not about shooting down ideas, but let's all come up with some ideas. Let's not say no to anything and see what we can marry together. And so that's kind of how we came up with our
Yeah,
project.
yeah. That's a great skill to have, especially in industry where you have engineering departments that have product managers or other cross-functional team members that aren't quite developers. You got to be able to communicate with them and not shit on their ideas, and you know navigate it in a way that's collaborative and productive, as opposed to sh- you know um having big egos in the room where it's like, no, I'm right. No, I'm right. So yeah, I really great that you said that, because that is an indicator of really great teams, and really great teams produce really great products. So hence why you guys are winners. um, all right. What are things that didn't go so well? And what do you guys think would have been better if you guys redid this again?
I guess it's tough to say. I'm sure we're not the only team that dealt with this, um, but the nature of the hackathon and different team member schedules. Uh,
Mm, mhm.
so some members had some conflicts, and I'm sure they would have wanted to do more also. Um, but I think that's where the communication part was really important, because we did try and, as much as possible, keep people who weren't present in the loop of what was changed as the project went on.
Yeah,
Mental
yeah,
balance.
I would agree. The scheduling is really difficult, especially if you guys are across different time zones. What do you think would have helped you in helping to manage that?
Um, Honestly, I don't think there's anything that can be done organizationally. I think that was just the nature of individual lives. So I'm not gonna. I, our team is not one to hold that against any one of our members. So they're still very open to other people if we need to do what we need to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's kind of to echo what Yam said. It's kind of hard because you have to like balance, all the different confounding variables between everybody's lives, and especially in something that's like 2 days. I
Mhm.
again will just re-echo and repeat what I said, where I thought it was amazing what we got done because um, if you had asked me like a week or two ago, I would have thought, oh my goodness, because it's so amazing how you can go from being thrown into something like this and then so much can go wrong, but yet you can still come out in the end, um, with grit and resiliency with something quite amazing. So yeah, just shout out to my teammates. But like Jordan said, it's just really hard. You get people who show up for one day and then for whatever reason, things don't pan out and then they're gone. But I'm just thankful, and you gain experience each time to be able to just kind of roll with everything and improvise where you need to. And yeah, did an amazing job. I mean, I think one thing I took away is probably just like when you get into a group, trying to just. It's always been hard, I know for me too, to like try to get people to collaborate together, like making servers and hosting events. It's just really hard. So I always appreciate when other people do stuff like this, like Jamil, because I know it's so difficult, and it is just the nature of the beast in some ways. The things with the virtual environment, things that go wrong, a mic cuts out, computers go down, different time zones. So you do what you can and you roll with it, and you have resiliency and grit. But yeah, I don't know how much we could really do. The only thing I could think is maybe just you try to collaborate and you try to say, hey, maybe we could use something like Calendly or something to get a quick snapshot, like what's everybody's roles, like get that pinned down at the beginning and then get the ideas out there. But that's all I can really speak to it. I don't know if Dan or Yam's got anything else to add to that.
No, I think you hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, so I agree. I think maybe understanding commitments at an earlier stage of the process might have helped you, is what I'm understanding. And I hear that you guys adapted and you guys overcame no matter like what hit you guys. And I think that's a very important skill to have, especially when you're in industry. That's why a lot of companies and organizations abide by agile methodology. As nothing is straightforward. You have to plan, or you have to be able to react in a productive manner in case of different changes or different um, business needs. So yeah, I think that's really great that you guys got to experience that, because it is translatable in industry. Um, Dan, was there anything that you didn't go so well that maybe you could have done better, or yeah?
Um, yeah, so I mean, obviously, one of the things that didn't go as smoothly as we wanted it to was our full integration of the simulation, and I think one of the things we could have done better is maybe take a little bit more time to research what sort of libraries were already available to us to try and leverage those and save us time in some other places.
Right, right. I hear you. I hear you. And I think it also goes back to organizations' business choices of whether to build in house or use external technologies to meet their business needs. And I think that's a really important thing that you talked about, what I feel like is relevant in industry. How much more time is it going to build in house? You know, especially here in a hackathon. Um, but yeah, I would agree to that. If there's a library, why not use it?
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
All right. Do you guys have any questions for me or any of the judges or anybody in here about industry?
Oh man.
Yeah, go ahead, Michael.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I I always feel so bad because when we have questions like this, I'm like, I know I have so many. It's just I can't articulate it in my mind right now. Like it's probably something I'll think of in another day or something, or a
Yeah.
couple hours later. But I definitely will have some. I just not at the moment. But I think Yams must have something.
No, I guess, the general advice Michael and I just graduated this boot camp almost a week ago. And I guess general advice on tackling getting that first job.
Yeah, that's a great question. I know the market's really tight right now and very competitive, especially with all these layoffs and economy, and that must be really scary for you as you just graduated. But the biggest thing that I've been telling the teams is that you are doing the projects that you need to be doing. This is one of those projects. And when you keep doing projects like this, make sure that each time you do a project, you're building upon the complexity and you're really understanding the interactions of all the different technologies in there. And then when you come to organizations that do have take home interviews or speak on the projects, you're able to really articulate um, your project in a technical manner as well as the whole marketing thing of like what the value it is. um, and as far as organizations and businesses that utilize leak code or data structure and algorithms, I think it's really important to understand that, like, yes, it's important to know these things, but also understand that you're not going to implement a linked list or an A or B tree just out of the blue when you first get to a job. Like that's every the code you're going to go into a code base that's already built and you're going to apply features, build upon features upon that. You may have to understand how these concepts work, but just knowing that like these data structures and algorithm questions are going to really give you an insight of how the daily operations is going to be in an organization. So that's something to keep in mind as well. I also have been doing some research and talking with other professionals how AI plays with these data structure and algorithm questions because, you know, AI can now solve these questions in like less than 10 seconds. So, are employers really evaluating software developers and engineers of their value if I'm just asking you what your data structures and algorithms skill sets are? No, what I want to know and the way I do my interviews is I want to know if you can plan your tasks accordingly to what the feature requirements that were given to you and do it in a way that's collaborative. You're doing it on time and you're implementing the technologies and the concepts that will maintain that will rel- that will leave us or leave the company with a product that is scalable, that's maintainable, testable, and you're basically future proofing that. And I think that's what I look for when I do interviews. Um, but then again, it's all subjective how organizations nowadays want to do their interview process. I prefer doing project take home stuff over these data structures and algorithms. Um, but that's just me. I don't know if anybody else here has another take on that. Mhm. Yeah, and I think you hit on a really good point about design patterns and patterns in general. If you are doing these data structure and algorithm questions, the way to get around it, and you don't have to do all these leak code problems. They all follow a pattern. If you can, I think there's like 14 or 15 main patterns. If you master those patterns, you can accomplish any of the different leak code problems. So that's just another tip if you're doing these type of questions for your interviews.
Thank you. It's really good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. That is really good. That's what I was kind of thinking is it's a lot of just relational patterns and familiarization and obviously critical thinking, but that is really good. And I really enjoyed doing the hackathon. I'm going to look forward to doing it again and checking out some other ones. Just don't want to, want to make sure we keep being involved with things, keep the wheels churning. And, at the end of the day, I get like, obviously we don't want to make just like candy programs, just the same old thing over and over, but we would actually want to apply critical thinking to projects and, troubleshooting and enhancing our skills that we already have. So I'm looking forward to doing that. And that makes sense with the lead code a lot. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Um,
I
yeah,
mean,
that's all
we
I
had
had. Oh,
fun.
go ahead, Jordan.
No, I was going to say we had fun as competitors. I'm not sure how it was for on the other side of the table. How did you all enjoy this experience?
Oh, for from my perspective, like as the judge, you're saying, or
Yeah,
yeah, I appreciate it. I love interacting with other devs and other people that are just breaking into industry because I feel, for me personally, that there's this misconception that there is one type of person and you have to be this one type of thing, one type of personality to break into tech, and that's not the case. There's a lot of misconception. Oh, you have to be really good at math. No, you don't. You have to be logical. You have to be good at critical thinking, uh, collaborating. For me, it's really good to see that that's happening here, and that you guys are taking the initiative to put yourselves out there because that's how you get a job. Is these types of networking events. So this is what I can contribute back. And I'm really passionate about software development and code, hence why I'm getting a master's in it. So yeah.
congratulations.
Yeah, you guys definitely didn't make it easy for us. But that's a good problem to have.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, I'm just looking forward to it. I think in the long term, it'd be great as my skills get better to be able to like actually help people with genuine needs. Because like obviously we want jobs, and I find a lot of things fascinating in tech, and I know a couple of the other people I spoke to here have the same kind of passions. I'm a big tinker. I like tinkering with a lot of different things. I've done a lot of sysadmin stuff. So coding's been, the world of software has been a lot different for me to actually get into that aspect. But um, military and this, I really do enjoy it more with, every year I get older, that I really enjoy meeting new people from different backgrounds and seeing how they think. And I think there's a lot of, um, I don't know how else to say it, like beauty, I guess. Just it's really amazing to see how people approach things that I never would have thought of. But yeah, one thing I'm just really hoping is that as I get better, it's not so much like getting more money, even though, yeah, that is a part of it. Like, I don't think anybody's going to say it's absolutely not, but it's the fact of not just the journey, but also thinking like maybe one day I'd be able to help like people with genuine needs. Like they have a lot of VA stuff with like the robotics and the AI, and some people are afraid, but there's also the really cool side of it and the side that can really help people. And I think that's something for me that's really attractive. That would be there's very few things that would give me more joy than seeing something I'm using actually help people. Like when I worked in IT, I was doing some support stuff during the summer for a cancer center, UPMC in Pittsburgh. And even though I wasn't like a doctor, I was like, you know what? It's kind of like when that guy was talking the presentation about the janitor saying, I help people do their jobs, put them on the mood, do all these cool things. And I was like, I may not be a doctor or a nurse or something, but I know the equipment they're using is only because I'm helping to keep it running. And so that's something that really deeply impacts me. And I'd love to one day, Lord willing, be able to do something like that to help others. That'd be cool to have that kind of in depth, you know, joy from skills that I have growing in at least.
Yeah, and just to build off of that, I think you really hit on something. You know what your why is, Michael, and that's really important, especially when things get tough, things get like really complex that you don't think that you can understand these complex topics. When you sit and you understand your why, that'll help you keep on going, and it'll also land you where you need to be as far as like the work environment. The money will come, and I promise you the money will come. Um, but it's really about sitting in that why. Why are you doing this? Why do you want to be in tech? Those individuals, those professionals get paid way more than those that are just showing up to a job because you're actively learning and you're building on more complex things. Um, so yeah, that's just like my 2 cents.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Um, yeah, I guess last note is that thanks for the experience of the hackathon. I think this feels like a space where you only get people who are genuinely passionate about this space to participate. So there's something to be said there.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Well, I gave you guys all a Starbucks gift card for some coffee, so enjoy it. You're probably really tired. But I'm on LinkedIn. Everyone here's on LinkedIn, so it's a networking event as well. So connect if you want.
Thank you.
And yeah, and on that note, you guys have a really good evening.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, take care, everyone.
Take care, guys. And Michael, make sure to follow up with Michael Pett from Uber since you mentioned Brazil.
Oh yeah, I will.
He's a really good guy to get to know. Just hit him up on LinkedIn. Never
Okay,
know.
thank you. Duly noted. Yeah, I made sure to write him down. Thank you.
No problem.
Well, guys, I'll stay in touch, and I'm sure I'll see you again soon.
Yeah, I sent inside the chat for DevPost. Please check it out. It's a great place for hackathons. So find all kinds of different levels, beginner to difficult, or AI to whatever you want. So please check it out.
Cool. Thank you. Let's throw that.
Did you want to chat, Jamil, with everyone, or are we calling it?
Yeah, let's call it. Yeah.
All right.
GG's.
The only team that hasn't done a retro is Kilo, but if you wanted to maybe go into their channel and say something, or maybe
Did they leave? They're not here.
Oh, Yams, did you?
and so Adrianna, if you wanted to maybe write something up,
know
totally
how loud it
up
was
to
when I
you.
spoke.
No, I guess I'll just say nice working with you guys.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, thanks,
Hey,
everyone. Thanks, Brandon, Ty,
guys.
Jamil.
Yeah, we'll have to stay in touch
Shoot.
when we're on LinkedIn, but if you ever got anything you're a part of, any hackathons
Cool
or
beans.
events
All right.
or anything at all,
Bye.
just let me know.
Bye.
We can stay in touch. Or, you too, Dan, like anything you guys got. Because that's
Yeah,
what I know
absolutely.
will be fun for the
No
next
doubts.
couple months.
All right.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Hey,
Yeah.
Dan. Huzzah.
What? I
Sort
didn't
of
hear
cool
what he
kids.
said.
Sort of cool kid stand.
Yeah,
Just
huzzah.
huzzah.
He just said huzzah. Oh, man. Good times.
I'm in the
It's good to
Discord,
know
so you guys leave that Discord up. You
sleepless
guys can
nights
actually.
paid off.
Oh yeah, and you know what? That's like what I imagine my experience in hackathons. It's a hackathon. It's like you're supposed to be just like grinding it out the whole time. Obviously that's
Yes,
not the
sir.
case for most teams here, but it's like that's traditionally what that means.
Yeah.
So it was really cool to see that. So I'm glad Jeff got to see that too in the Discord. So speaking of Discord, you guys gonna leave? Are you guys gonna like leave that Discord up? Kind of post it as kind of like a new dev spot to like invite other devs to like try to open source this project? Or are you guys gonna keep building it out? Because if you leave the repo up, leave the website up, leave hosting up, I mean, you never know, man. You could